Hey there everybody, Mystery Wheel Gunner back here with you again. Thanks for tuning in. And I've got another Revolver Showdown. I've got the Smith & Wesson 629 Classic versus the Colt 2021 or New Generation Anaconda. And both are in 44 Magnum. Now for my little disclaimer, this little versus video is meant to be just for fun. There is some data here, of course, but this is not meant to be some exhaustive or comprehensive or definitive comparison between these two. Again, just relax and enjoy the show. Oh, and while I strive to have some sort of impartial opinion, keep in mind I am not beyond my biases. Okay, just a little bit of history here, which I find interesting because of its coincidence. Both of these nameplates, the 629 Classic and the Anaconda, both appeared in 1990. Now, obviously, these are not the same guns that debuted in 1990. The original 629 Classic was built on the 629-3 frame. This is, I believe, the 629-6. Let me open this up and take a peek. Yeah, so this is the one I have here is on the 629-6 frame. And of course, the New Generation Anaconda was re-engineered ground up. So this is not the original Anaconda. But again, the nameplates go all the way, both of these go all the way back to 1990. All right, here we go. Safety check time. Empty. And empty. You'll have to excuse if these guns aren't quite pristine. They are cleaned up nice and well, but these guns go to the range regularly with me, so you're going to see, the little fouling marks on the cylinder. I don't bother to get those off there because, in a couple of weeks they're going to get dirty again. These are my regular shooters. All right, here we go. First category, the front sight. Pretty close here. So on the Anaconda, this is one of the improvements they made on the 2021 Anaconda. You've got the relatively quick change front sight. The front sight is held in place by a little grub screw that is inside that recess. So just put an Allen wrench down in there, loosen up that grub screw, take this out, put in your replacement, tighten that grub screw, and you're good to go. Nice design, good improvement over the original pinned-in sight on the original Anaconda. But the winner, it's got to be the Smith & Wesson. This is the quick change front sight. See that recess in there? Well, don't go sticking anything in there. Okay, that's just where all the, I guess, that's how they fit the mechanism in there during production of this gun. But you don't stick anything in there, and certainly do not try to drive out that pin. This is a quick change, so check this out. It is toolless. All you're going to do is pull this back. You're going to push it against the spring tension, and then you're going to lift out. Just like that. How cool is that? Totally toolless. And then to put it back in, just reverse the process. Of course, now I fumble when it's on camera, but stick it in there. You're going to feel that plunger in there. Push against it, tip it in, and there you go. So, quick change front sight on both of these, but I'm going to have to give the win to Smith & Wesson because of their toolless design. Next up, rear sight. Yeah. For those of you familiar with the new Colts, I think you already know where this is going. Look, I don't know what it is with Colt. Why did they go with this design? It is click adjustable for elevation and just really strange adjustable for windage. For windage, you have to see that little recess there? That's where the grub screw is that secures the rear blade. You have to loosen that screw and then guesstimate your adjustment with the freewheeling adjustment screw. There are no detents or notches. So you're just going to have to make note of, okay, I turned it this far, You know, I gave it like a quarter turn, half turn with the screwdriver, and then tighten this back down and then shoot it, see where it is. I mean, on the one hand, I guess if you're a Colt fanboy, you can argue that, hey, without any notches or detents, you have infinite, minute adjustability. Yeah, I guess. I'd rather have the detents and clicks, to be quite honest. Smith & Wesson went with the traditional formula. Click adjustable for elevation and windage. So yeah, no fooling around with a securing or tightening screw, and you can definitely feel the clicks. That way you can make a quick and easy mental note. Hey, how many clicks did I move it? Did I move it one click too many? Let's say you moved it 4 clicks over, and now you moved it too much. Then you can, make that simple mental calculation. Well, let me bring it back by 2 clicks. A lot easier than, this thing, because, judging quarter turn, half turn, that's not real, that's not real precise. Anyway, Colt, if you're listening, come on. You used to have this on your snake guns. Fully click adjustable, not this strange windage adjustable thing. Anyway, winner for the rear sight, because they kept it nice, plain, and simple, and something we're all familiar with. Smith & Wesson gets the win. Welcome to another episode of The Grip Snob, with your host, The Grip Snob. Okay, for the grips, first let me explain something. Technically my gun is a 629 Deluxe. Well, sold as a Deluxe because it came with the it came with the fancy wooden grips. But guess what? By buying some Hogue grips and putting them on here, I've now converted it to a, proper 629 Classic and not the Deluxe. And for those who want to argue that point, look at that. It literally says 629 Classic on the barrel anyway. So since I have now converted it to a proper 629 Classic with the rubber grips, I'm going to judge it as such. So what do we have? Pretty much a dead tie. Okay. Rubber grips, yeah, I mean, they are what they are. I suppose these are probably 2 of the better looking rubber grips, but they're not going to win any beauty contests, next to the wood grips. And to be honest, they are rather serviceable. They have a nice profile to them. This one has the nice little Coke bottle shape. And guess what? So does the Anaconda. See that palm swell right there? That's that Coke bottle style, target style grip. So they both work. Hey, whoever makes these, I think Hogue. Remember when you used to put the little emblems here? Instead of just having the company logo embossed on there. I mean, it's cool you have them embossed, but it's not even visible, really. Now, if you put the emblems back on, at least it would kind of pop. They still won't be as pretty as the wood grips, but at least they'll give a little more sizzle and pizzazz. Anyway, just a little suggestion. Bring the little emblems back. How much can those really cost? Even if they added $5 more to the cost, I'd pay an extra $5 to have emblems on, on both sides. Anyway, starting to ramble there. As far as grips, very comfortable with the rubber grips on both. Pretty much a tie. All right, time for the beauty contest. Aesthetics. Well, I think we all know where this one's going. That's right. Colt Anaconda. Now, I'm not saying the 629 Classic is ugly. This is a great looking gun, I love the font there where it says 629 Classic. That really does look really classy. I like the font they chose, It's not like, this is like pretty basic right there where it says 44 Magnum. It does its job, but it's, kind of boring. So I like the fact that they spruced it up with the font where it says 629 Classic. But man, oh, something about that vented rib that this gun inherited from the Python. I mean, Colt knew they had a winning design there, right? I mean, again, both guns look great, but man, this is, I gotta believe, I know I'm going into blasphemy territory here. If the Anaconda would have been available, you know, in the late 60s when Dirty Harry was being filmed, I'm inclined to think that Dirty Harry would have carried the Anaconda if it was available back then, because come on, this has got that Hollywood look. So the beauty contest, aesthetics, Colt Anaconda. Next up, ergonomics. I'm going to have to go with the Smith & Wesson. I'm talking about the ergonomics of loading or reloading. And that's because on the Smith & Wesson, you push forward and then pop the cylinder out. And to me, that's just more ergonomic, more intuitive than pulling back. Of course, after you've done this for a while, I mean, you know, this is, like I said, this is a regular shooter for me. So, of course, I'm comfortable with, you know, rotating the gun like this real quick, pulling on it, and then, you know, ejecting the shells, and then I can reload. But, man, even after getting used to this and becoming smooth with this reloading process, the Smith is just so much more intuitive. I mean, it's so quick, you know. Remember when Jerry Michalek set that world's record? It was like 12 shots in so many seconds, meaning he had to reload. Yeah, and guess which revolver he did it with? Yeah, Smith & Wesson, because the reload here is just so much quicker. Okay, so ergonomics, Smith & Wesson. Time now for another episode of The Trigger Snob with your host, The Trigger Snob. All right, we've got some trigger snobbery now, and we're going to split it up into two parts. First, double action. And both guns are smooth. There's no doubt about it. That is a smooth pull. I'm not detecting any hitches or anything. It's a smooth pull all the way through. But this Conda, oh my God. Oh, as smooth as this gun is, and the 629 Classic is smooth. That is a very good trigger. This is an excellent trigger. I always say the following, that it feels like it's on ball bearings. I know it's not, but that's what it feels like. It feels like everything on this gun is made out of ball bearings. It is just so smooth. It is amazing. Especially because of how good this gun is. You know, you pull the trigger on this gun and you think, well, how can it get any better? This is already smooth. Can it get better than that? Yes it can. With the big bad Conda. And this is why the new generation Anaconda is so much better than the older one. I believe the older Anaconda, I think, was based off of what? The Trooper? As far as the internals, it was like more similar to like the Trooper than the Python. Not that I'm dissing the Trooper, but you know, just saying the Trooper was meant to be a lower cost revolver. But this new Anaconda, basically they took the Python and scaled it up. So this is just a big Python. And it's got the Python's glassy, ball bearing smooth double action. My God, I call me obsessive compulsive. I can pull this trigger all day long just to feel the glassy smoothness. God, that is so good. So, trigger, double action. Excellent trigger here. Sublime trigger here. Winner, Colt Anaconda. All right, here we go. Trigger snobbery, part 2, single action. Now, cocking back the hammer on this Anaconda, oh my God, that is so buttery soft. I mean, whew, that is really nice. But how does it feel when you're pulling the trigger? Because that's what counts. You don't fire the gun by pulling the hammer. You fire by pulling the trigger. Not bad. It is light. It's got a nice break, as it should. It's single action. All right, let's try the Smith. Yeah, cocking the hammer is a little stiffer. But here's where it counts. The trigger pull, and oh my God. It is so light. You put any gun into single action, okay, you better be prepared for business, all right? If not, you better decock that hammer. And as light and as crisp as the Anaconda is in single action, this is even better. Whew, that is so light. So, in single action mode, the winner, the Smith & Wesson. Since I'm going to crown a victor in this video, I think it's only proper that we look at the crown of these revolvers. First, the Smith & Wesson, and that is a very minimal crown. In fact, it's so minimal, it's almost not there. But it is there. It's just, you know, the bare necessities of a crown. Now, I do want to make it clear, bare minimum crown still works, okay? This revolver is accurate. So Smith & Wesson's almost no crown does indeed work, okay? I have no problems with the functionality. This is a very accurate revolver. Now, that being said, the Anaconda, yeah, I know, I apologize for the dirty crown there. That's my fault, not the Anaconda's fault. But now that's how you do a crown, people. Look at that. That is a very prominent crown. There's a deep recess in there before you get to the rifling. That is a crown. Now, this is Colt saying, we're proud of this gun, and we're proud of our crown. And again, just want to make it clear, okay, the bare minimum crown on the Smith, it still works. Still works. But for this particular category, all right, I think we know who's got the better crown, and that is the Colt Anaconda. All right, that brings us to the end of this video. I would just like to reiterate that, yeah, you know what, this video is mostly just for fun, so relax. You know, if you're rooting for the Smith & Wesson, hey, your gun won. If you're rooting for the Colt, hey, you know what? Hey, it was close. It really was. And regardless of which revolver won today, both of these are great revolvers. There's a little bit of a difference in MSRP. Typically, the 629 Classic is going to be cheaper than the Colt Anaconda. But either revolver you go with, you're coming home with a winner. Alrighty. Again, thanks for tuning in. Catch you all next time.